Hello, BookTube. I have a quick morning mail haul for you, prefaced with the usual two comments for those of you who might be new to the channel. And I noticed that my channel is approaching 3,000 subscribers, which is mind-boggling to me, and 1,000 subscribers on Twitter. These might be small numbers to the popular kids in class, but they're unthinkable to me. And yet both are close to happening, so there must be new people out there. So I thought I would open with the usual two comments that longtime subscribers will already know. The first one being, if you see something in these books that you really want, not a whim, not you might be able to be interested or whatever, but that you really genuinely want something in your sweet spot, then let me know. Either email me or leave me a comment, and I'll do my best to get it to you. And keep in mind that since doing my best to get it to you involves an old man going to the post office and paying for a package to ship off to Australia, if you write, yeah, I might be interested in taking a look at it, I'm going to take that as a very interesting comment, but in no way an expression of interest. I don't actually have a mailroom. This is me doing this. So if you're genuinely interested in one of these things or anything that you see on this channel, let me know. Except for the stuff in my library tour. None of that is up for grabs. I am allowed a few books of my own. And the second thing is hand in hand with that, which is that if you, in addition to seeing something that you might want, if you see something that you would like to review, or if you have something in mind that you would like to review, if you'd like to try your hand at reviewing for an audience, I am the managing editor of a small but well-respected literary journal, and we're always looking for new reviewers. So, again, feel free to contact me, either email me or leave a comment. Okay, so those two things out of the way. Let's see what we have here. Starting with this tiny little thing, which it feels too thin to be a romance novel. I'm really in the mood for a romance novel, but I don't think I'm going to get any in the mail today. Since it's too thin to be a romance novel, I have a feeling it's going to be one of those kinds of nonfiction books that I detest. Those kinds of very short introduction, here are the bullet points, this is a Wikipedia entry on some subject that deserves your full attention for a long time. I guess I should commend those books, those kinds of books, for their philosophy. The philosophy is, better some information than none at all, better vetted information than free-for-all of the internet, but they bug me all the same because their aim is good, but they are also a bellwether of the fact that the 21st century has no ability to pay attention, and that's distressing because that's the end of humankind. But let's oh, okay, all right. Well, this isn't one of those. Good. All right, so this comes out in a tiny little hardcover in September. This is by Stuart Hall, and it's called The Fateful Triangle, Race, Ethnicity, and Nation. So it could just be an intense thing in a small package. That has also been known to happen. These are drawn from Harvard lectures delivered in 1994. One of the founding figures of cultural studies reflects on the diverse, often deadly consequences of our contemporary politics of identification. Okay. And Stuart Hall died in 2014, 10 years after he gave these lectures. Okay. Great. All right, so, well, I didn't think there was much of a market anymore for books adapted from lectures. Used to be all the rage 100 years ago when I was at home. Okay, all right, great, fantastic. So that is not, Byzantine history for dummies. It's something very different, something much more substantial. So what's this next one? Oh, good. Oh, fantastic. All right, this is a new novel in the fall, I believe. In the fall, I believe. Yes, in September. This is Dinner at the Center of the Earth by Nathan Englander. Great. Okay, fantastic. This is an astonishing novel about an American Jewish boy who becomes an Israeli spy and then a traitor to his adopted country. Taut, provocative, impossible to put down. Dinner at the Center of the Earth is the most electrifying work of Nathan Inglis's extraordinary career. And that jibes with what I've heard about it. I've heard all sorts of great things about it. That it's a game changer of a novel. This is a resolutely mid-list author. And the things I've heard about it is that this is not a mid-list book. That this is worth serious attention. Great, fantastic. And the author tour. His publicity and tour includes Boston, Iowa City, and Washington, D.C. I take him on a tour of all my old homes. All right, let's move on. What's this next one here? Let's keep these envelopes under control. I didn't used to do that, but I've developed the instinct ever since I've been living in the Christian Science Monitor's book room. Oh, okay. All right, this did not request it, but fantastic. This is Wilbur Smith, The Tiger's Prey. A novel of adventure is what the little catchphrase is, but you hardly need to say that with Wilbur Smith, right? I mean, that's what all of his stuff is. He must be as old as dirt, though. Okay, yeah, he was born in 1933. He's as old as dirt. He still writes a novel, though. Boy, every year he writes a novel. That's great. So what have we got here? Tom Courtenay. Oh, the Courtenays have been characters in his fiction for 40 years. One of the four sons of Master Mariner Sir Hal Courtenay once again sets sail on a treacherous journey that will take him across the vast reaches of the ocean and pit him against dangerous enemies in exotic destinations. But just as the winds propel his sails, passion drives his heart. Turning his ship toward the unknown, Tom Courtenay will ultimately find his destiny and lay the future for the Courtenay family. Wow, so this is part of the Courtenay saga, but he does a great job with with making it so that you don't need to read the rest of the Courtenay saga to like each book. Okay, so this comes out in October. Wow, a new Courtenay book. How do you like that? So this is he's one of the few writers left who's can genuinely be described as swashbuckling. But this has to be a historical novel because you couldn't escape censure if you wrote an adventure novel about the dark heart of Africa in 2017, where everybody has Wi-Fi. So this must be. It's odd. Usually, historical novels will start with the date, so that you know roughly where you are. This doesn't seem to do that. Wow, the back just says what the front says. Okay. Oh, there we go. Set in the 18th century. All right. Wow. Okay. So, Wilbur Smith historical novel. Great. Now we move on to this next one here. Otherwise, my recycling bin is just out of control every week. Okay. All right. I can just show you the picture. You don't need any identification. There we go. This is Lenin by Victor Sebastian. The Man, the Dictator, and the Master of Terror. Oh my. Okay, so this is a 600-page biography of Lenin coming out in November. Fascinating biography of the man who helped launch the Russian Revolution, which uses his personal, including Lenin's key relationships with the women in his life, to shed light on the political. Drawing on new research, including diaries, memoirs, and personal letters of both Lenin and his friends, the author's unique biography, the first in English in nearly 2 decades, is not only a political examination of one of the most important political figures of our time, but a portrait of Lenin the man. Unexpectedly, Lenin was someone who loved nature, hunting and fishing, and could identify hundreds of species of plant. A despotic ruler whose closest ties and friendships were with women. The long-suppressed story of the complex love triangle Lenin had with his wife and his mistress. The book reveals a different character to the coldly one-dimensional figure of Lenin, of legend. Okay. All right. Different. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I will. I will get to this right away. This weekend, I think maybe. I'm not going to feel any sympathy for Lenin. If the book is, if that's even tangentially its aim, it's going to be a failure. But I'll give it a try. So this is some deplorable figures from history getting biographies. I just got one the other day of Sigmund Freud. That's going to get reviewed everywhere. But let's see here. What this is the last one of these vacuum pack things. Last one for now. And this is there's the little girl cleaning herself as best she can. Okay. So this is also something I did not request. This comes out in July, early July. This is Footnotes, How Running Makes Us Human, by Yves Gregan Reed. Who is Yves Gregan Reed when he's at home? A senior lecturer in English and Environmental Humanities at the University of Kent. He has a popular blog and has written on and been interviewed about running in major publications all over the world. He's also written numerous articles and essays for academic journals and a book on Victorian culture called Discovering Gilgamesh. Okay, he's a bit of a polymath. And this is all about running. How it makes us human. Then that was a theory years ago, right? Was the human anatomy was actually developed for long-term running in the heat. And that was a huge evolutionary advantage on the savannas of Africa, where the whole purpose is to avoid the heat. Running is so much more than a sport. It can be something magical, a way to recover some of the joy that modern life increasingly denies us as we spend our time connected to our phones, emails, and social media. Again, with the Chicken Little nonsense. Phones, emails, and social media bring joy as well as deprive us of it. It's not like we're all toiling with these miracle machines. They bring joy too. It's all a question of how you use them. When the author set out to discover why running means so much to so many, he began a journey that would take him out to tread London's cobbled streets, the boulevards of Paris, and down the crumbling alleyways of Ruskin's Venice. Footnotes transports you to the deserted shorelines of Seattle, the giant redwood forests of California, and to the world's most advanced running laboratories and research centers to discover more about the history of the places we know and how we use them. That sounds interesting. That sounds very interesting. Well, that mention of the California redwoods, I know somebody. I used to run. I used to love it. And it's absolutely, the author's absolutely right. It is magical. Even at my plodding pace, I ran like a Clydesdale. But even so, I was transported after a while, and it was great. It's indescribable. Runners know, but it's an indescribable feeling. You can't really convey it to someone who's never felt it. The cortisone rush that just really does clean you out. But I knew someone back then who used to go running in a heavily wooded patch of the High Sierras. He used to leave his home, take his truck, he loved the trails and the woodland trails, and I had no idea why he would do that. I used to remonstrate with him all the time. I used to say, so you're running along a trail, you decide you're going to try a new variation on that trail that takes you through a lovely meadow. And as you're running into the beginning of that meadow, 300 yards away, a bear stands up in the grass. That bear has also been exploring that meadow. Then what do you do? Because you can't stand running on a track at the local university, then what do you do? The bear needs approximately 5.6 seconds to cover that 300 yards. And if you turn on your heel and run as fast as you can, the bear will overrun you in seconds. They can do 35 miles an hour on flat ground. And then what happens? with you with no cell phone, with you with no contact with the outside world? What happens if you slip and fall and snap your leg like a wishbone? What happens if you get bitten by a snake? Why would you do that? Just for the rush of, the cathedral of trees? I don't understand that. But this looks really good. What running does to your mind, what it does to your senses, what it does to your sense of place. This could be really, really good. Unfortunately, I'm past the point where it will create in me a desire to go running. I will just read in complete peace on this couch. That might change, though, in the future. If I have a young dog, that might change. Right now, I have... Right now, I have a peaceful old lady who does not run, doesn't even like to walk. All right, so there you go. That is our morning mail haul. Will probably be more, but that is Footnotes, a great big biography of Lenin, a new historical novel by the master of the genre, Wilbur Smith, Nathan Englander's Dinner at the Center of the Earth, and a collection of essays, social justice essays, but it sounds like it'll have a lot of bite. That's great. So there you go. That is a nice, varied little mail haul. So that'll be it for now, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.